Welcome back to The Five. While millions of Christians around the world were celebrating the birth of Jesus yesterday, al-Qaeda had another plan to mark the occasion. The Muslim terrorists targeted Christians on Christmas Day in Baghdad. At least 37 people were killed as car bombs tore through Christian sections of the Iraqi capital, including a church service. Good for you, brave boys. Once again, very little comment from the so-called moderate Muslims after yet another slaughter on one of the holiest days of the year for Christians. Why will you ever wake up and finally recognize that we have a right to have our religion? Now the number of Christians in Iraq is down to 400,000 from well over 1 million. I say the idea here is ethnic cleansing as far as I can tell. You Muslims have just got to get your act together. Eric, what do you think?
I think it's going on throughout the Middle East. It's going on throughout the Muslim world. And I agree with you 100%. It has to stop. You're very passionate about it. But here's the question. When it goes on in places that we know it's happening, do we negotiate with them? Do we sit down with the Iranians and different various groups that I don't know if they condone it or they're just looking the other way. They can certainly lean on the groups that are doing it to stop it. Maybe it's time to take it to that level. For me, I'm more concerned about them getting a bomb at this point right now, and I just don't think we should be talking to them.
Daniel, why is it that we don't hear from any of the clerics, the lead imam, anybody in the Muslim community standing up and being disgraced? I mean, we bailed this country out. We made him a democracy, supposedly, and yet they slaughter Christians. I mean, what is it? Why don't the Iraqis at least say something?
Well, the government is trying to do something. The New York Times reports today that America is now resending back arms and supplies to the government of Iraq so that they can fight back against al-Qaeda. So there could be an argument that leaving prematurely helped lead to the situation where you have al-Qaeda resurgent and targeting more Christians. However, it's not just in Iraq. It's also, we've talked about Nigeria. And I would also say that it's not just Muslims. If you look at Christians in China, for example, persecuted in different ways, not necessarily bombs in churches. They're not allowed to have churches at all. And so America should just feel confident to be on the side of Christians everywhere, the side of religious freedom. But Christians do need, I believe, Christians need American government support around the world.
Absolutely.
I don't think it stops, Bob, until we drop the PC culture in this country. The president gave a speech in Cairo where he talked about a shared history of tolerance between the Islamic culture and the United States of America. That is the biggest bunch of bull I've ever heard. And you know what? We don't talk about it in this country. We don't know who our enemies are. They know who we are. They know our history. And now al-Qaeda is not what it used to be. Now it's a brand. It's a jersey. You can just fight. You can go online. And what do we do in this country? We sit silent. We try and be nice to them. We try and appease.
Yeah, we let them build more mosques.
They're not going to stop. And if this was their way to attract people to radical Islam on Christmas Day, it was a heck of a way to do it.
Yeah, that's for sure.
It was a strong message that they were sending, and it should be met with equal and greater force. I don't think that we've done enough. I think there's been small steps, and it's just not good enough because it hasn't thwarted this type of religious fanaticism, this religious cleansing that is going on with Christians being persecuted. It's sad that this is happening during this time when we are a country that is so capable of doing so much, and yet we, I think, are failing to send a strong message that resonates throughout the world that this will not be tolerated.
You know, Bob, very quickly, you asked why more clerics don't condemn it. A very interesting Pew poll from last year polled Muslims in the United States, and it was a very small number of Muslims in the U.S. who actually condemn the bombings and the killings.
Let me tell you one thing that worries me more than anything else. In northern Egypt, where the al-Qaeda is and the terrorists are very active, one of the things that scares me is that the Egyptian military is in a pitched battle up there against terrorists, and there's something there called the Suez Canal. If the Suez Canal, and this is it's a prediction I hope I don't have to see come true, but if for some reason terrorists get control of the Suez Canal, it will wreak havoc over the economies of the world.
Because we would make sure.
Yeah,
maybe we would. I certainly hope we would.
But in Egypt, can I just touch on one more quick thing? Yeah. Piece of news today that the Egyptian government has declared the Muslim Brotherhood a terrorist organization. Thank God.
That's not so good for Hillary Clinton.
But do you remember what we talked about here when the Muslim Brotherhood
came in? Why can't we do that?
Well, President Obama was pushing to get the Muslim Brotherhood.
I just want to make sure we mention the South Sudanese as well, because they're being persecuted in addition to the hundreds of thousands of Syrian refugees. The American government has a lot more that it could do, I think, diplomatically. I know we don't want to be the world. Some people don't want America to be the world's policeman, but I think we're reaping what we've sown over the past few years.
I agree.
And
All right,
Christians in
we got to get
Pakistan,
out of here.
too.
Directly ahead, some